Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to take you through a tutorial of Dance to the Sugar Plum Fairy. Now this is taken from this book here that you can see, and it's called a traditional holiday and Christmas book, one where there are 10 festive pieces in there. Each piece of music comes with the sheet music and the violin tab where possible. So out of the 10 pieces that are in this book, there is just one that doesn't come with a tab. You can get this book from the website which is above here, or in the links in the description bar directly underneath this video. So click on the more or the show more and all the links will be revealed. And the first piece I'm going to go through is the Sugar Plum Fairy. Now this comes with a backing track and a performance track as well, so you can play along with the violin part or you can just play along to the backing track on your own. So if you want to learn how to play Dance to the Sugar Plum Fairy, then grab your copy of the book. It's 100% downloadable, so as soon as you've bought it, you can have it straight away. And let's get going with the tutorial. So I would probably say that this is the trickiest one in the book, just because there are a lot of accidentals. So there are a lot of sharps and flats and everything. So this might be a piece that you could perhaps work up to. So maybe you could have a go at some of the other pieces in the book and then maybe work up to this one, or you can just see it as a challenge. Most of you probably know this piece anyway. It's from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite. But I thought I would put it in anyway, just because it does remind me of Christmas and I just really like the tune and I just wanted something just that little bit different. So the first thing I would say is where you're going to put the bow. If possible, you want to be playing near the heel of the bow. So you don't want to be playing near the middle or near the point, you want to be playing near the heel of the bow. And we want to be playing sort of staccato notes. So that's where we're playing the shorter notes. So you can play it completely normal if you want to. So trying to play staccato is a little bit more of an advanced movement, but you are going to get that. You are going to get that kind of, nice Dance to the Sugar Plum Fairy kind of sound, where it's nice and short, you've got the short attack, and it just gives it that nice bright and lively feel. So you want to be playing near the heel of the bow so that you have most control. You have more control near the heel of the bow, less control near the point of the bow. But sometimes playing at the point of the bow can be beneficial for us in different kind of ways. But for this, we want to be playing at the heel of the bow. And all you're going to do is when you finish playing a note, you just lift off the bow. So almost like you're creating little tiny U's with the bow on the violin. So imagine there's a U just directly above the bridge or directly above the strings, and you're just going to be creating a U with the bow. So as you're moving, and you see I'm sort of creating a bit of a U with my hand movement. So you've got to, when you put the bow down, you're moving it down and then up, down, move it up and then up. So that almost gives us a nice U shape. You don't want to be coming off too far, because if you come away too far, you'll find it too hard to get to the next note. So kind of little baby U's. You don't want to be going no more than say an inch above the strings. Any more than that and you're not going to get down in time. So that's the first thing. The second thing there are lots of G sharps, G naturals, F sharps and F naturals. So the G sharps, every time you've got a G sharp with a third finger, it's going to be in a stretched position. So you know that you've either got open notes, the first finger position, If you've got one of those little don't frets, or you've seen my dot placement video, I'll put a link directly underneath this video so you know where to put your fingers and where to put the dots and everything. But if your first finger's on the dot, your third finger would be on a dot. An open string is an open string, and the second finger will either go next to the third finger, stretched, or back towards the first finger. So the third finger for G sharp is going to be slightly stretched above where it would normally be. So that's where a G sharp is going to be. So for example, the second bar in where you start playing, you've got a G sharp, an A, and then 3 G naturals in a row. So you're just going to stretch the G sharp a little bit, and then you've got an A. Now instead of doing an open A, I've put a fourth finger, so all you have to do is just jam that fourth finger right in next door to the third finger. I would avoid doing an open A if you can, because it means going on to another string. So because your third finger is already stretched, it's so simple and easy just to put your fourth finger right next door to your third finger. It just makes it so much easier. So. And then all you do is slide that third finger back into its regular position or on top of the dot for the G sharps. The F sharps are jammed in right next to the third finger, so you don't have to do anything exciting there. F naturals, so you slide your second finger back a little bit so that it's close to the first finger, and that leaves you ready for the... Now again, I've put fourth fingers there just because it's a little bit sort of jumpy. You can do an open string there if you really, really want to, but you should start using a fourth finger, and you should start getting used to using fourth fingers because they are so much easier. So the next kind of little troublesome slot after that is probably when you get to about bar 19, 20. So where we just got to, bar 8, the rest of it just pretty much sort of repeats in terms of like sharps and flats and that kind of thing. Everything else seems pretty straightforward. Basically where I've got an open string, do an open string. If I've set a fourth finger, then put down the fourth finger, because eventually you will thank me for it and you will find it a lot easier to do. So let's move on to bar 20. This is quite a tricky little bit, I must admit. It caught me out a couple of times when I was doing the performance tracks and everything, but it's nothing, just a little bit of practice won't help. It's not too fast because you've got a rest at the start of the bar, but it falls quite nicely under the fingers, and this is one of those instances where you just can't do an open E. You can, and I've just done it there, but I don't like the sound of it, and I wouldn't do an open E if I was actually performing this, just because I keep everything on the... I've got an E with the first finger on the D string, I've got a stretched third finger on the D for a G sharp, then I'm moving to my first finger for a B on the A string, and then I could just put a fourth finger down for the E on the A string, and then I could take those fingers off and play an open A, and that keeps it all on the same string rather than trying to go over 3 strings. And not only that, I've then got to get from the E string down to the open A, down to a first finger on the G, and it's just a little bit sort of, you know, too much of this. So if you keep it on the... If you keep the fourth finger for that E, you're on the same string and you're all ready to go, and it's so much easier. Okay, so bar 21 and 22, you've just got to feel the kind of rests there. So, you might just want to, you could count, you could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Or what might be possibly easier is if you just put the performance track on, which you'll get free with all this anyway, but if you just put the performance track on and just play along with the violin part just to kind of get used to it. But I mean, do you know what, guys, it's not a tragedy if you do end up playing on the first beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It really doesn't matter. It's nicer if you have it on the 1 and 2 and 3, and that would be a lot nicer, but you know, I'm not going to tell you off. You know, this is just a quick kind of little simple arrangement that I've done with these. So if you guys want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You know, nobody's going to complain because you're going to be playing such a nice piece anyway. So don't get stressed about trying to come in on the 1 and 2 and, because it is quite difficult to do and it will take a bit of practice, but just play on the beat if you want to. And then you've got a 2 bars rest, and then the next thing is exactly the same. So if you wanted to play it on the beat, it wouldn't sound any different. It's just playing off the beat is nicer because you're playing on and off the beat with the piano. I know you can't really tell with no background here, with just my violin, whether I'm playing on or off the beat, but like I say, it doesn't really make any difference. So don't get bogged down and don't get stressed if you can't fit that in. The most important thing in this little area on the last 3 lines is that you count the two bars rest that you're getting and that you don't come in too soon or anything like that. So then when you get to the very end, you've got a DS al fine. Now that's dal segno, go to the dal segno and then play to the fino. So that's Italian. So DS is dal segno, and what the dal segno is if you go right to the top or right to the start of the piece where it says lively, and then you've got your 4 bars rest. And then when you start playing, it almost looks similar to a $sign, but it's like a little S with a line and 2 dots either side of it. Now that is the dal segno. So what that means is when you get to the very end of the piece, go back to the dal segno. In other words, start right back at the beginning where you start playing again. So you skip the 4 bars introduction, and you're going to play the 1st line, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, and 5th line up to that bit where up to the bit where we got to bar 20 with those semiquavers, and you're going to play to the fine, and that's it. So you will be ending with, so that's it. So that's going to be the final thing that you're going to end with. So you might notice as well that there aren't any bowing marks or aren't any dynamic marks. I decided not to put any bowing or any dynamics into this just because it was a kind of Christmas holiday traditional festive piece book. I just decided that this book would be suitable for anybody of all levels. So if you are the more advanced player, feel free to put any type of bowing in that you'll want to. You probably won't need to be prompted in what kind of bowing. There are 1 or 2 throughout the book, but there's none in this. If you want to put some dynamics in as well yourself, you know, go ahead and do that. But again, I just wanted you guys just to enjoy the holiday and Christmas songs and not be bogged down too much with the dynamics and all the bowing and, you know, and all that kind of thing, and just have a bit of fun for this time of year. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to check out all the other videos of all the other tutorials that I'm doing, which are all in this book as well. The link to buy the book is above here. It's all in the description bar underneath. I'll link each and every tutorial directly underneath each video as well, so you don't have to keep finding them on my channel and everything. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.